What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a very exciting video for you. We're going to be looking at a couple more of these Mego Star Trek figures, and the ones we're going to show you today are the Klingons. And so over here we have Core, and then we also have Lieutenant Worf. And these are relatively new. I believe these both came from what they call Wave 15. And these are reissues of the ones that were originally released as Topps exclusives. They are variations, in other words, because they're not exactly like the ones that were the exclusives. But in terms of Core in particular, there really isn't too much difference between this figure and the Topps exclusive. There's just a little bit of color variation in terms of his outfit. Worf is actually quite different, though, because the figure itself is the same, but the uniform is different. And later on in the video, I'm going to get Worf out of the package, and I'm going to put him in the uniform that is more appropriate for the rest of the Enterprise crew that I currently have in my collection. And I will be assembling all 5 members that I currently have and showing you what they all look like together. So stay tuned to later in the video for that. But first, let's talk about Core. And so this is one of the Klingons that is from the original Star Trek series. And you can tell that because it says original series up here and has a picture of Captain Kirk in the corner. All the ones that are from the original series have Captain Kirk in the corner. The only ones that don't are from one of the earlier series where they were actually picturing the individual character up here in the corner. But the way they're currently releasing them now, the picture in the corner of the package is typically the lead character or the captain from whatever series it's based on. So with original series, it's always Captain Kirk. I kind of wish that they would go back to individual character depictions, in the corner, but, they haven't made that change. Hopefully they will make that change at some point in the future. But in terms of Core, I'm going to keep this one in the package for now, but I think it looks fantastic. I really think they did an amazing job on the head sculpt. And as you can see, it comes with the Klingon Disruptor pistol, so that's really cool. And I think the major difference between this one and the Topps exclusive one is I think the color, the sort of glittery part in the pants is actually different from the Topps exclusive. I don't have the one that was the Topps exclusive to compare to, so I can only kind of guess as to what the difference is. I do have the Kang figure, which I can show you side by side what these two look like together. So this was in an earlier release, and you can see there is a difference. The pants on this guy are a little bit more gold than on this one. These are a little bit more silver. And you also notice that the belt buckle kind of detail is a little bit different on these. And Core also features an extra piece of insignia here on his uniform here at the top, so that's kind of cool. And also, I noticed that the black neckline is different on Core by comparison to Kang. The other major difference between these two figures is actually the Core figure uses the new Mego body design, which has 26 points of articulation as opposed to the older style, which has 14 points. And I'm going to keep both these in the package for now, but if you want to see a comparison video between the two body styles, I'll put a link in the description to my articulation guide to the brand new Mego figure. I do a side-by-side comparison between the two Mego body designs, so you can actually see the differences. And that video is much more extensive in terms of the exact details of the articulation. But overall, I think the figure looks fantastic. Again, that head sculpt just looks amazing. So very happy with that. And then on the back of the package, you can see a nice big picture of Core on the back. And they give the write-up on Marty Abrams. And then also here, you can see credit given to the various contributors who helped make this action figure happen. So awesome figure. Very happy to have it. And the only thing that we're now missing in the collection of the original series Klingons is Captain Koloth. And I'm hoping they will get to release him at some point in the near future. That would make the set complete in terms of the major adversaries for Captain Kirk that exist in the original series. So hopefully they will get to that in the near future. And it would be very nice, actually, if they did that, because the Klingon that existed in the original Mego action figure line looked a lot more like Koloth than it did either of these two guys. So it would actually be appropriate for them to get to that at some point. I'm thinking probably they won't use the original head sculpt, the original vintage head sculpt. I wouldn't mind it if they did, because it's actually pretty decent. but I'm guessing they will probably, commission a brand new head sculpt and probably give a more screen accurate update to the outfit as well. So I'm anticipating eventually they'll get to do that figure. So that would make my collection of, major Klingons complete for the series. So next we're going to talk about Lieutenant Worf, and this was one of the figures that I anticipated the most. He's definitely one of my favorite characters from the Next Generation, and I think they did just a fantastic job on the head sculpt. It very much does look like Michael Dorn as he portrays the role. And again, this is the variant version with a uniform that is different from the way you see him normally in Star Trek Next Generation. This is more along the lines of the uniform that he wears in Deep Space Nine. So, and also, I think there's at least one movie where he appears in this uniform as well. So, and on the back of the package, you can see a nice big picture of Lieutenant Worf in this uniform, and also, again, the write-up on Marty Abrams, and also credit given to the various contributors as well. So I think it looks really fantastic in the package, but I'm anxious to get this out of the package so we can take a look at the details up close. So let's go ahead and get Worf out of the package. Okay, so we got Worf out of the package now, and we can get a much better look at the head sculpt and everything. As you can see, this is what it looks like from the back. And again, I just think they did an amazing job in terms of capturing the look of the character. And there's some nice details on this uniform as well. This does have the molded Star Trek boots, so there is no ankle articulation on this figure. And that is true for quite a few of the Star Trek figures. They just don't have it because the entire portion from the knee all the way down to the foot is actually one solid piece of plastic. So, but again, looks pretty cool in this uniform. You can see the more modern communicator pin from the time period of Deep Space Nine. And also, I think they used this one in Star Trek Voyager as well. And he also has this sort of bandolier thing that goes around, sort of sash, that's appropriate for a Klingon character. So looks really awesome. And as I mentioned, I do have the extra uniform because I picked up an extra Geordi LaForge. So I'm actually going to take the uniform from Geordi, put this on Worf so that he will look very much in keeping with the way his character looks in Next Generation. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we have Worf wearing his clothing as he appears in Next Generation. So it's very easy to sort of swap out the uniform. If you have an extra version of Geordi LaForge, you can basically take the shirt and just put it on Worf. And also, Geordi also comes with the belt and the phaser, which Worf does not come with. So it actually kind of pays off in terms of adding some extra accessories to Worf. And this pretty much replicates more or less the look of the Topps exclusive figure. So in case you missed out on getting the Topps exclusive figure, you can actually more or less make that figure yourself using the Geordi LaForge figure. And I'm very excited to be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead now and bring in all the other members of the Enterprise crew that I have in my collection. So here we have Geordi, as you've seen in previous videos. We have Jean-Luc Picard, Captain of the Enterprise. We also have Commander Riker. You can see that figure. And also we have Commander Data. So yeah, so there's the full collection. So now we have 5 members of the Enterprise crew. And they did make a running change, obviously, with the uniforms. The more modern uniform includes the communicator badge is a separate piece on the newer uniforms. And the detailing on the collar is much better in terms of uniforms by comparison to the first 2 releases, which were Picard and Data. And there is also a little bit of difference between the color of the shirts. So you can see Data's shirt is a little bit more gold in color by comparison to the yellow of Geordi's shirt. So yeah, they didn't maintain consistency in terms of the uniforms completely. But they did make improvements, so that's kind of cool. So maybe at some point they will re-release Picard and Data with updated uniforms, so you can get a full crew looking all very consistent. And I'm hoping that they will do a lot more of these figures too, because having just 5 members of the Enterprise crew, there's a lot more characters that are still yet to be done. So I'm excited for where they go with this in the future. So, but in terms of building my collection, I'm actually pretty excited about where I'm at right now. So that's very cool. Having Worf was pretty much essential for me, being that he's one of my favorite characters. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up And if you'd like to see more reviews of Mego action figures in the future, think about subscribing to the channel because I will be covering more of this kind of stuff in future videos. Until next time, I hope you're having a great day and live long and prosper. Thanks for watching.